The mystical part of Torah, the Kabbalah, you all know, was kept secret, reserved. We're not allowed to study it until you're 40 years old, and a scholar in all the other parts of Torah. And even then, you had to have a special, sensitive soul, and then you were permitted to study Kabbalah just one-on-one, never in a classroom or in public. This changed about 400 years ago. The Ari in Tzvat declared that the time had come to make this wisdom available. Now it's available. Very available. Anyone who wants can study Kabbalah and is studying Kabbalah. And now that we're studying it, the mystery is, why was it kept secret? There's nothing dangerous in it. What's the secret? The secret is not something dangerous. Secret means private, personal, intimate. That's secret. From the Torah we know what God wants, but we have no idea what it means to him. He tells us what to do. Thou shalt not, or thou shalt. What's in it for him? How does it matter to him? How much does it matter to him? This we see only in the Kabbalah. In other words, like in any relationship, for the first 1,000 years, we got to know the facts. The things that were not intensely personal, because that comes later. But at this stage in history, like 400 years ago, the relationship between us and God had developed to where we can handle a little more personal insight. We can get a little more intimate. Like, how do you get to know your mother? Takes a long time. And it's not until you're grown up and your mother is getting old, then she starts to reveal a little bit of her truest, deepest feelings and so on. So the Kabbalah really is an insight into God that was not available before, because there was the danger that we would humanize it and trivialize it. That's why your mother doesn't show who she really is. Because she's afraid you're going to dismiss it as insignificant, and that's going to hurt a lot. The other reason is, as long as God never really showed himself and his personal investment in our relationship, then if we sin, it's forgivable. Oh, I didn't know. Like every kid says to the parent, I didn't know it was so serious. I didn't know you really cared. But what if we know everything? And our parents bare their souls and we know everything, and we still sin against them, then it's much harder to forgive. So God left that information for the end of history so that we could be forgiven for our mistakes. Now that we know, the forgiveness is no longer necessary. We have gained forgiveness by our painful, long, miserable history. Now we deserve only reward, so why not? Why not reveal the secrets? The ultimate secret, I think we'll get to talk about this. The ultimate secret is the statement in the Zohar: God, Torah, and Jews are all one. We're not related, we're one. Inseparable. There was never God without Torah, there is no Torah without God, there's no God without the Jewish souls because we're a piece of him, there's no soul without God, it's all one. So Judaism takes on a whole new meaning. The mitzvah is not to get you closer to him. You're one with him. So now, why do we need the mitzvahs? That is a whole new, it's a whole new light. I think we have to add one more ingredient here. Evolving into what we're supposed to be does not move us further from God, but closer to God. In other words, evolving to the maximum that a human can be means dissolving into God, not becoming more human. The way to do that, of course, is through divine, not human, activity. So the mitzvot, they're all divine activity, not human. So the objective, like the difference between pop psychology and real psychology, the healing doesn't come by becoming more me. It comes by becoming less me. But if less me, then where am I going? I don't want to dissolve into nothingness. Less me means more him. Isn't that a good description of a marriage? To put it in practical terms, it is so much easier to admit that I am wrong than to admit that you are right. Is that not true? There's no comparison. People who are perfectly comfortable and able to say, I'm sorry, I was wrong. I made a mistake, I was wrong, I'm so stupid. They can do that. And it doesn't hurt their ego. But to admit that somebody else is right, they can't.
Wow.
Their ego will not allow it. The self-effacement in Buddhism is I am nothing, I am wrong, my needs, my wants are nothing. Why? Because I'm nothing. So I'm wrong. And who's right? Nobody. The universe, or whatever that means.
Right, whatever that means, exactly.
So there is no you're right in Buddhism. There's I'm wrong.
Wow.
Fascinating thing is that most of Buddhism and Hinduism, the whole Eastern philosophy, came from Avraham. Avraham, after Sarah passed away, married Keturah, right? And they had children. And Avraham gave them, the children of Keturah, he gave them a gift and sent them to the east. They moved to the east. The original philosophy in the east was called Brahman, or Ibrahim, or Abraham.
Wow.
What Avraham gave his children is his philosophy before God spoke to him. For 75 years, Avraham was an incredible philosopher, believed in God, taught the belief in God, sacrificed his life for the belief of God, but he had never heard from God. So it was all I'm wrong. I'm not it. I'm not the answer.
Wow.
I am not the end. But what is? Don't know. When God came and said, I need. You're right, it's not your need, it's my need. He said, okay, you guys take the philosophy and go to China. You know what I mean? And we are going to continue the study of what God needs, and that will be Judaism. So the humility that we're talking about is not I'm nothing. I'm here for him. And this is really, even the Orthodox world, even some people who study Kabbalah, miss the point. They're afraid of it, actually. The entire point of Judaism is, you think you need? Your needs are petty compared to God's need. And that's why we are very willing to serve him and do what he needs because his need is awesome. My need is sometimes embarrassing. But here's a really beautiful thought. One of the unique things about a human being that separates us from the animal, the vegetable, and the mineral. Listen to this. The nature of a human being, not religion, nature. The nature of a human being is that he is never content being human. The animal is content to be an animal, just don't interfere. The vegetable is content to be a vegetable, just don't interfere. Don't step on me. And the mineral is perfectly happy to be a mineral, just don't crush me. The human being does not find contentment in being human. In other words, I have to become something more than I was created to be.
Wow.
But what is more? So in some desperate ways, human beings try to become animals because I'm not content being human. So I want to run like a deer in Olympic competition. I want to fly through the air like a bird. I want to swim like a fish. We can't quite catch up. The deer is still faster, and the eagle is still,
Wow.
So that's not the direction to go in. What do we do to be something other than human? Those are the mitzvot. So professionally, why are children, adult children, terrified of hearing their parents' needs? Why is that so terrifying? Why would they lose respect if they hear that their parents need them more than they need their parents? Why is that scary? People are terrified of the idea that God needs me more than I need him, which is the absolute truth. Because I didn't create him. He created me. Well, then obviously he's the one with the need. It's just so obvious, but scary. So most people who don't study Chassidut, they're terrified. They hear this idea, they run away. Literally, they shut down. So I got this little incident. I get a phone call from a father in Israel. I don't know him, he doesn't know me. He has a problem. His 12-year-old daughter got it into her head that God was angry at her, and she's all distressed.
Wow.
They went for therapy, they went to rabbis, they even went to Kabbalah for mystical healing. Nothing helps. And then he did something that is really distasteful, but he says, "Here, talk to her," and he puts her on the line.
Oof.
So I said to her, "God is angry at you?" She says, "Yeah." I said, "I'm so jealous."
Wow.
She said, "What?"
What an answer.
I said, "You're 12 years old and you can get God angry? How did you become so important?"
Wow.
Problem went away.
Wow.
Now she goes telling her friends, "God's angry at me." Not you. You're not important enough. When God gets angry at us, we don't have to explain it away. Yeah, he's angry. Why is he angry? Because he cares. How does he not get angry? And how are we supposed to respond? Wow, I didn't think I was so important. And that's why when we read in the Torah that God gets angry at us, nobody faints. I mean, nobody walks out traumatized. In fact, there's that portion in the Torah where God describes the horrible punishments he's going to bring on us. Like 4 pages worth.
Yeah.
You're going to suffer, you're going to die, you're going to go crazy, you're going to be crushed. Whoa. It's like, it literally sounds like a Holocaust. We read this in the Torah, and what do we do right afterwards? You go into the social hall and you make kiddush and you have a kichol and you go home. Like, nobody sits there trembling. Why? It's your Father talking.
Wow.
So his anger is a compliment, not a threat. So here's what we need to do to get to the finish line. God is not a perfectly indifferent creature who has no feelings, no needs, no reactions except anger. What a distorted picture of him.
Truly.
He's a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
The only thing he knows how to do is get angry.
Angry.
It's a ridiculous. Everything that we have comes from him, right? We're created in his image. So if I have anger, he has divine, infinite anger. Not no anger. If I have a little bit of knowledge, he knows everything. Infinite knowledge. If I have a need, it's just a tiny example of his infinite true need. So much so, when a person says, I need, you got to be careful. You're playing God. God created the world with a plan. You mess up his plan, he gets angry. I didn't create the world and I have no plan. Why am I getting angry? So to get angry is to act like God. To say I need is to act like God. To say I know everything is to act like God. And yet what you're taught in every school, in every shul, in every synagogue, in every Hebrew class, you need God desperately. He needs nothing. Well, this is a bad relationship. But like an abused wife. We're needy, and we keep begging, and we keep pleading, and he just punishes away like there's no end. That's an abusive relationship.
Right.
To think that God can get angry at us is a huge compliment. We love it. There's another very powerful word. What is your purpose? How do you know there's a purpose? Who says there's a purpose? Eat, drink, and be merry, and then die. Who says there's a purpose? And yet everyone throughout history forever has been looking for the purpose. There's no purpose. Relax. Why are we so convinced? So I just recently read In the Name of Mark Twain. And this is something that can serve you for the rest of your life. He said, there are 2 very important days in your life. The day you're born and the day you find out why. Isn't that amazing?
It is. It is.
It's everything in one little sentence.
It is.
Well, almost everything. Because if you meet him and you say, I heard you say that the second significant day in your life is when you figure out why you were born. Why were you born? He doesn't know. If you enjoyed this conversation or this topic and you're looking for more information, or you want to hear it again from another angle, there is a way to do that. And that is in this book. It's all there. Order it from Amazon. You can read it, reread it, and share it. We have a Sunday night program for VIPs that you might be interested in. It's informal. It's questions and answers. It's conversation. It's really relaxed. It's really pleasant. enjoyable, informative, and kind of community-like. It's a Sunday night program. There's a Wednesday morning program for the VIPs, and there's a Wednesday night program. All of it just conversation, casual, laid back, unscripted. So join us. Take a look. Click the link below and see which of the three suits you best, and join us for some enjoyable conversation.